So I know we've gone over this in the written material, but I'm just gonna go over it again in video, and then we're gonna do one of the questions that you have not done yet. Sorry, I'm just moving around. So, how to find the volume of composite shapes, right? We found the volume in the last section of regular shapes, but now we're putting shapes together. So how do we find the volume? So what we're gonna do, very first thing, is to break into shapes that you know. Okay, so for this one, we're going to break this into shape 1 and shape 2. Right, we have a cylinder and we have a sphere. Well, half a sphere, but we'll get to that in a second. And then we're gonna find the volume of each shape. And then once we find the volume of each shape, we're going to add the volumes together. Okay, so when we're looking at this example, what we're going to do is we're going to find the volume of our sphere and the volume of our cylinder. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I am going to write down my equations. Right, so my cylinder, I am going to write this as volume of my cylinder is pi r squared times height. Okay, and then I'm going to write under it the information that I already know. So I know that my height is equal to 6 meters. And I know my diameter is equal to 10, but we need the radius, right? So we need to find, so what is our radius? Well, diameter is 10, right? And radius is always half of the diameter. So I'm going to do 10 divided by 2, which is going to give me 5. So my radius is going to be 5 meters. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the information I just found and plug it into my equation. So my volume of my cylinder is pi, and my radius is 5 squared times 6 meters. And then when I do my calculations, I get pi, where's my pi button? Pi bracket 5 squared times 6. So I get it as 471.23. Right, and I'm going to round this to 471.2 meters squared. And then I'm going to box it and leave it at that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the volume of my sphere, right? So when I get this, the volume of my sphere, like of a sphere, is 4/3 pi r cubed. I don't know why I wrote squared, cubed. But do we need a full sphere for this one? No, we only need half of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the whole equation and divide it by 2 because we only need half. And then I'm going to write the information that I know. So what I know in this is I know that my radius is going to be the exact same, right? We already found it, 5. And then I'm going to plug my information into my equation. So my volume equals 4/3 pi with my radius cubed. And then when I do the math, I'm going to put it in as 4 divided by 3, put it in brackets, pi bracket 5 cubed. And I get, I forgot to put this over 2. So then I get this as 523.5. And then if I divide that whole thing by 2, I get 261.8. That's going to be meters cubed, not squared. Okay, so I've done my step 1. I broke it into shapes I knew. 2, I found the volume of each of my shapes. So 3 is I'm going to add my volume together. So my total volume is my volume of my cylinder plus the volume of my sphere, which is going to give me 471.2 meters cubed, not squared, plus 261.8 meters cubed. And when I add them together, my total volume is 733 meters cubed. So I'm going to therefore the silo can hold 733.0 meters cubed of grain. So now we're going to take a look at the second question. So remember, in one of our last ones, what we did is we found, because we need to know how much is left, how much spacing is left, we're going to be minusing some volumes together. Okay, so if I take a look and I say a cone-shaped hole is cut out of a cylindrical piece of wood. This is why I'm not in English, guys. How much wood is left? So the thing we need to do, very first thing, is to break it into shapes we know, right? So you can see that there's a cylinder. So our cylinder will be shape 1, and then our cone will be shape 2. And so what we need to do from here is we need to find the volumes of each shape. Okay, so what I'm going to do the very first thing is I'm going to find the volume of my cylinder. So the volume of my cylinder is the same equation here, right? I'm going to write the volume of my cylinder first. So volume of cylinder is equal to pi r squared times height. And then I'm going to write the information I know under it. So the information I know, my r, my radius is equal to 5 centimeters, and my height is equal to 17 centimeters. And then I'm going to plug the information in to my equation. So the volume of my cylinder equals pi times 5 squared times my height, which is 17. And then when I plug that into my calculator, I get 1335.2, 1,335.2 centimeters cubed. And then I'm going to find the volume of my cone. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I use the right volume equation. So I have, for this one, it's pi r squared times height, and then I divide this by 3. And then I'm going to write the information that I know for this one. So my r is equal to the same thing, right? My r is equal to 5 centimeters. My height is still equal to, so from here to here, it's still 17 centimeters. And then I can take that information and plug it into my equation. So the volume of my cone is equal to pi 5 squared times 17 divided by 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the top part of my thing first, of my equation first. So I'm going to put that in my calculator as pi, why can I never find this when I need it? Pi 5 squared times 17, and I get 1,335.176, and then I am going to divide it by 3, right? Because that's the second part, is dividing it by 3, and I get 445.1 centimeters cubed. And then because it's asking for how much wood is left, what we're going to do is we're going to take this volume of the cylinder, right? Because we found the whole volume of the cylinder, and then we're going to minus this portion, right? Minus our cone shape. So I'm going to do the volume, total volume is going to be our volume 1, so the volume of our cylinder minus the volume of our cone, which is going to give me 35.2 centimeters cubed minus 445.1 centimeters cubed